Welcome to another Cracking the Box video from the Kitmaker Network. For this Cracking the Box video, I'll be looking at ModelSpace's Sovereign of the Seas ship kit. ModelSpace is a company offering several different genres of model kits, from cars, trains, and planes, to ships and even sci-fi. ModelSpace's kits are highly detailed and manufactured in larger scaling. With all of the kits in their line, ModelSpace offers a pay-as-you-go subscription. This allows the modeler to be able to create amazingly detailed kits from virtually all the genre without having to pay the entire model costs up front. With these kits, the constructions are broken down into months. This follows the subscription of each of the kits. Each month, a new section will arrive. This will continue until the subscription is fulfilled or you cancel the subscription. The Sovereign of the Seas kit is a 1/84th scale multimedia kit. Primarily constructed from wood, the kit also includes white metal and brass parts, photo etching, spools of rope for the rigging, coils of wire, and a complete set of instructions. As part of the subscription, this kit is broken down into 12 segments. For this review, I am looking at Pack 1. The first thing you'll see when you get your first installment is that the parts come packed very well. All of the parts are protected by bubble wrap, and each of the sections are packed in either a blister pack or in plastic bags. Since the kit is delivered in sections, each section comes with its own set of instructions. In this case, there's a 55-page instruction manual that's broken down into 11 stages. The first part of the instruction magazine for Pack 1 is a history of the ship. This covers details about the ship, such as construction and the designer of the ship. The included instructions are in color and are laid out very well. Following the instructions, the hull is broken down into sections. The instructions are laid out so that after each section of the hull is constructed, there is an alternate assembly such as the cannon or launch that need to be built. This allows the glue on the hull sections to fully cure before moving on. This first pack contains all of the ribs for the hull construction, as well as the ship's launch and 2 cannon. There is a segmented false keel that all of the bulkheads get attached to. With the exception of the bow and the stern, all of the bulkheads are in 3-piece construction. When finished, the ship will be about 43 inches by 35 inches by 15 inches tall. The 1/84th scaling of this kit makes for a very impressive model. The entire framing for the hull is made from 3-ply plywood. All of the parts of the hull have been laser cut. This gives the parts clean, sharp lines and minimal attachment points. By simply using a number 11 blade or a small hobby saw, just cut the parts out. After a quick sanding, you can begin constructing the pieces. The ship's launch is included with this pack as well, along with a small supplied jig to construct the boat. The parts for the launch are laser cut as well. Gluing of the parts can be done with standard wood glue, white PVA, or even super glue. There are 2 cannons supplied with the first pack. Each of these cannon are made from white metal and the carriages are from wood. Each cannon has a set of block and tackle that will need to be rigged later on. As part of the inbox review, I wanted to share some of the construction process. Following the instructions, the first to be built is the bow and the first section of the false keel. The upper hull ribbing was attached to the lower bulkhead sections. These parts were glued together with standard PVA or white glue. All of these sections were laid flat and allowed to dry. The construction of the false keel and all the bulkheads is pretty straightforward. Each of the bulkheads are numbered and simply slide into corresponding numbered slots. Once the forward section of the hull was completed, it was time to move on to the assembly of one of the 2 cannons. Once the carriage was built, it was time to add some color. I chose Vallejo's German red-brown primer for the color. Once the carriage was painted, it was allowed to dry. The next step in the instructions was working on the anchor of the ship. The instructions suggest that all of the metal parts be painted black. However, I decided to use another method to blacken these parts. I chose Ushi van der Osten's Burnishing Fluid. This is a non-toxic solution that will burnish the white metal parts to a realistic black iron look. First, all of the parts needed to be cleaned really well. For this I used acetone. The parts were placed in a glass bowl, and using an old toothbrush to scrub the parts clean, I began to remove all the dirt and oils from the metal parts. Once all the parts were clean, I submerged them all in the burnishing fluid. The burnishing process is extremely fast. Within seconds after submerging the parts, they begin to turn black. The process can be sped up a little by giving the parts a light scrubbing with the toothbrush. With the metal parts blackened now, assembly of the cannons and the anchor can be done. By the second section, things become more routine and go a lot quicker. After the main hull is built, construction of the ship's launch, transom, and bowsprits can be done. Framing of the ship's launch goes quickly. There is a small template for holding the frames in place. The frames are glued to the template and will be cut off after the planking is done. The instructions include an easy-to-follow step-by-step to the planking of this boat. Nearing the end of the construction of Pack 1, it was time to secure the bulkheads. For permanent securement, I made a mix of standard PVA and water. This was applied to all the joints. The capillary action allows the glue to soak right into the joint. Included in this first pack is the internal gun deck. These flat sections slide into position and will be fastened with nails and glue later on in the construction. This completes the assembly of Pack 1 of Model Space's Sovereign of the Seas. In the future, I will receive more sections of this kit as would be seen in a subscription. I will make subsequent video reviews of each section as well as showing some of the construction. If you'd like to follow along with the build, the link on the screen will take you to my build blog on the Model Shipwrights forum.